Hello, my name is Dr. Jawad Alzir. I'm the founder of Halallopathy. Today I would like to propose you a new potential treatment for coronavirus. Now, this idea takes the advantage of the equilibrium law, which is well explained by Le Chatelier principle. Now, this proposed treatment is expected to reduce the COVID-19 to a threshold that could activate the patient's immune system and speed up recovery. So, what is Le Chatelier principle? Indeed, this principle is extremely attractive and interesting. Well, it represents the principle of self-regulation in nature. It's interesting to know that every system is in a state of constant equilibrium. Now, if this system is exposed to any changes caused by any factors, it could be concentration, temperature, or pressure. So what's happened? Indeed, the system tends to shift its equilibrium to certain direction to counteract the effect of these changes and restore back the state of equilibrium. Now, to understand this concept, let us take this nice example. Now, if we consider a beaker filled with water. Now, this beaker at certain temperature, pressure, and concentration, we will notice that the liquid water is in equilibrium with the vapor water. And the vapor water usually forms above the surface of the liquid. This means that the rate of condensation and the rate of evaporation is equal. Now, if we left this beaker for a whole day under the normal condition, what we will notice? Nothing. The water inside the beaker remain almost constant, the same. So let's try to create a stress for the water in the beaker. Now, if we use a fan as a source of accelerated air, so we will notice that the water inside the beaker starts to reduce. So what happened? According to Le Chatelier principle, the ratio of water vapor and liquid water is always at fixed ratio. Now, once the system is exposed to a stress, which was in this case a fan, the water vapor starts to reduce. This created an imbalance in the equilibrium state. Now this imbalance needs to be corrected. So the system will impose on itself to accelerate the evaporation rate. And this evaporation will continue till the equilibrium is restored back. Well, this means that the ratio of vaporized water and the liquid water is back into the constant ratio. But what we will know, what we have noticed, we notice that the amount of water have been reduced overall. Now this is in case of water in a beaker, but now how to utilize this principle and use it for corona control or corona treatment. So, in case of coronavirus infection, we assume the intensity of coronavirus in the patient's body and in the patient's surrounding is at fixed ratio. Now let's suppose this ratio is 1:1. It's unknown, but let's suppose that it is 1:1. Now if we have a method which is similar to the fan, now in the case of the fan and beaker, we reduce the water vapor. Now if we have a method which is similar to the fan, that it could reduce the number of viruses outside the patient's body. So according to Le Chatelier principle, we assume that some of the viruses which is inside the patient's body will migrate outside the body. And this is important. Why? Because we need to maintain the constant ratio between inside and outside, which we propose or we assume to be 1:1. Now, if the removal of the viruses from the outside continue, the process of virus movement from the inside to outside which usually goes through sneezing or coughing, will continue until the virus intensity inside the body reaches to a threshold that allows the immune system to deal with the coronavirus more effectively. So once the intensity of the virus inside the patient is reduced, this means we have removed the stress on the immune system, which was put on the immune system. And once the stress is removed, the immune system recovers the potential energy and restore the fighting mood. So in practice, it's known that antiseptic reduce the transmission and progression of diseases. So that's why we disinfect our hand before entering indoors area. Now, to implement the Chatelier principle into practice and achieve a significant result, it's important to rationally select an antiseptic that could enter the patient's body through the channel that the virus enters the body, multiplies inside the body, and intensively spread to the outside. So if it is therefore necessary to look for antiseptic that it is less harmful to the patient's health, but it's more effective against the virus. And to do so, it must be compatible with the patient's body and can be taken by inhalation. So we did a rational and thorough research, and then after we concluded that a mixture of sodium bicarbonate with sodium chloride, which is also known as a common salt, is a very appropriate antiseptic for this purpose. Now, a mixture of sodium chloride and sodium bicarbonate is available in the market and is used as a moisturizing spray to treat dryness inside the nose. Now, in literature, it's known that 5% of sodium bicarbonate can inactivate viruses that contaminate surfaces up to 99.99% in a very short time. It's also known in literature that 8.4% of sodium bicarbonate can effectively inactivate microbes that attack respiratory pathogens by inhalation. So now, what is the proposed treatment? It is a mixture which is saturated with sodium bicarbonates and common salts. And now, to create this saturated solution, we need to add 5 grams of sodium bicarbonate and 3 grams of sodium chloride to 90 grams or 90 milliliter of water. It's the same. So after dissolving the mixture, we add 2 milliliter of vinegar and 1 milliliter of aromatic extract such as rose water or mint fragrance. Now, those natural vinegar and aromatic extract, they both are useful to speed up the movement of ions in refreshing atmosphere. Now, the inhalation method can be easily performed at home by inhaling the vapor from electric humidifier which contain this mixture. Now, the mixture can be found in almost every house and is affordable for all people. So, in case a humidifier is not available, it's possible to heat the mixture to boiling point and then inhale the steam. Now, if the mixture is boiled again to be used once again, it is advisable to add vinegar and rose water once again, especially vinegar as it evaporates quickly at boiling point of water. Now, in case you would like to prepare 1 liter of this mixture, so you need to multiply all the ingredients 10 times. Now, for corona patients, it is recommended to inhale 3 times a day, each time for 5 minutes over a period of 3 days. Now, this mixture can also be used as a preventive measure by operating an electric humidifier for 1 hour per day. Now, for your information, since May 2020, we have used this method and tested it on volunteers in more than 200 corona patients, and the overall results are really excellent and attractive. So I would like to add this another point, that this research hypothesis was submitted as a research article to be published in a scientific journal. So in the end, I would like to wish you a complete recovery and good health. Thanks.